Hey, this is Eric Polito, aka EB the Younger, and you're watching Esh Flush. I love it here. I've been coming here for many years, and I've always loved the architecture, the people, bicycles, and yeah, love the venues that we've been able to play. So it's good to be back at Paradiso tonight. Not today. We had a long journey from Hamburg, and we just got in about an hour ago. So I went on a walk with my camera, took some shots, and got some steps in. Went to the record shop. That record shop right next to Paradiso. Stopped by there, and yeah, here with you now. We have Midlake played at least twice. We played, I know, once in the small room, and I think actually twice in the big room.
Okay.
We opened for the Flaming Lips once, and then we headlined once. Well, I think partly it's nostalgic, because we're playing the room that we played with Midlake a long time ago, and that's really cool to return back. Because it has a small room and a big room, it kind of is a cool way to kind of have a goal of growing, from the small room to the big room. That was neat for Midlake to do that some years back. And it's right in the center of town, so it's beautiful, right there on the ravine there, and it's just really beautiful. Yeah, we've played a handful of shows already, and it's really been a nice reception. We've been playing some of the solo songs, obviously, but then some songs from the other catalogs that I've been able to be a part of. Yeah, it's a great band, and we're enjoying just traveling and being out, playing these songs and meeting new people. Well, after the last Midlake record, we kind of made a conscious decision to pause. A few of us had some kids. We just rested. Just wanted to take a break, and I don't rest as easy, so I wanted to do some other musical projects. So that's why we did the Banquet Project, which was a collaborative with some of us Midlake guys and some other artists as well. We just finished our second volume of that. And then, the solo record, I had some songs that I don't think would have fit really in either catalog. And I've been wanting to do a solo record for some time, and just, it made a little bit of time having the break to work on that. With Midlake, we were always doing Midlake. There wasn't a lot of downtime. We weren't writing and recording or touring, vice versa. So it's been kind of nice to have that downtime and work on something else. So that's what this has been. So EB is my first and middle initial.
Okay.
Eric Brandon, and that was my grandfather's first initial was E. His name was Emilio, and he actually didn't have a middle name. But I had an Ancestry.com account, and I saw him sign on a document, and it looked like Emilio B. Polito, which is our last name. I thought EB, that's really cool. And to make a long story longer, the younger was like an antiquated way to say that there was an elder person in the family with the same name. So EB the elder, EB the younger. I don't necessarily mean it to be a literal thing. It's just kind of a statement of saying it's something greater came before me. So that whether that's him or just many other great people and things, I think it's these days it's kind of a lost virtue of trying to say that something is greater than you, because we always think the world revolves around us, and I have to remind myself that it doesn't. Good, but I mean, they would lie to me if they didn't like it, I'm sure. Everybody's been nice, the band has been great, and my friends and family have been great, and we've gotten to play it out some now, so it's been cool to just get people's reaction, it's been a warm reception. It was great. We actually did our very first show last fall in Wisconsin, which was kind of a random play, but it was nice to get our feet wet and work out some of the first show issues. And a lot of these guys played on the record as well, so it's and Mackenzie, who plays drums in the band, is from Midlake. So yeah, it's been kind of an easy transition into the live. Well, a lot of the songs I kind of had maybe half, written already and have been sitting on, and then the other ones kind of came along the way. The other executive producer, his name's Matt Pence, he had really helped corral everybody and schedule a time and say, okay, we're going to get in the studio at this time. Let's, get these folks to come out and play with me and work out these tunes, because they really hadn't been fleshed out on purpose. I just wanted to have kind of a bare bones structure of the song on acoustic guitar and voice, and then go into a studio kind of in a classic way with the band, set up mics, you're all playing together in the room, and see what comes out. And we did that on the first session with the main core guys for like 2 songs, I think. And it just went really well. And it wasn't a way that we had recorded with Midlake as much. Things were a lot of times more drawn out, a little more process. So this was more organic, and just kind of set the tone for the record. So we scheduled more sessions with those guys, and we had a few others that trickled in as well and played on the record. But yeah, it turned out better than I could have ever imagined. A lot of the Midlake catalog had a more, melancholy type of vibe to it. Not exclusively, but I think this album has a lot more just buoyancy and fun in it. Some of the references are of that same era, but it kind of has a more playful type of nature to it. After a while, you kind of lose objectivity to try to decide what it is and what it's not, and how it might be likened to Midlake. I wouldn't think someone would be offended if they're a Midlake fan and then hear this and like, oh man, he really jumped off the deep end. I think they would like it and see that it has a place in that, I don't know, that spectrum of Midlake influence. But like I said, it's probably on the more playful, melodic side, It's been good. The video was a lot of fun to make, and it was cool that accompanied the song, so you kind of got a visual that was also quite, playful as well. And most of the guys that are in the video played on the record as well, so it was a cool way to I kind of tip the hat to them as well, and the fact that we are a team together making the record, and that kind of personified itself in the video. So it's a neat thing to have for the song, but for me, just, for forever to have that little time capsule of seeing the guys together. That's a good question. I'd have to say, in a lot of ways, and they all have their place, but the song CLP is about my son, and it was really cool to write a song for him. When he was little, we would sing St. Judy's Comet by Paul Simon, and it references that in the song. And I always thought that was a neat thing to kind of give as a gift, to another person. And being my son was a special thing. And I forced him to like the song and dance to it. So. So, kind of a long story short, there's an artist named Matt Cliff that's from Fort Worth, and I always loved his artwork, and he had a series that was kind of looked like vintage baseball cards. And so we talked about doing an image for the album. I didn't know it was going to be the cover at the time, or just thought it would be a cool series or visual to have with it. So he mocked something up. I thought it looked great. We tweaked it some. Eventually became the cover. And so we kind of went along with that theme, even though the front isn't, I'm not dressed like a baseball player. We have the team on the gatefold with all the guys that played on the record in team uniforms like they used to be video. We have more stuff throughout the year, and we'll have more stuff next year, and the Banquet record should come out early next year, second volume.
The second volume.
Then we've talked about working on some new Midlake stuff next year too.